They can't keep a good man down. Always keep a smile when they want me to frown. Keep the vibes and
all right, now, unless I'm mistaken, I think we have somebody on the line who is supposed to be on the show today, and is this Ryan Thompson? Ryan, are you there?
I sure am. Thanks for giving me a call, and sorry for missing your call earlier. I actually worked graveyard and slept in. I've been wiped out today, man, but thank you for giving me the time today and for giving me a second chance here. And hi, hippie brother. How are you guys today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm very good, very good. Glad to be on the air with you guys. Glad to be celebrating freedom and Casper's new move to freedom. It looks like Casper's going to be enjoying the same thing I get to enjoy out here, and able to grow some plants and medicate himself properly. That's good to hear.
You can do that in Iowa?
That'll be Oregon here pretty soon, won't it?
I know, but where are you at?
Oh, I'm in Washington, just up north from Casper.
Washington State?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought you were in a different state than that altogether for some reason. Maybe because of your activist work.
I do activist work all over the country. We travel to rallies and organize things in 3 different states currently, and we're trying to get out to Pennsylvania as well. We've got Vincent Alvarez set up with the marijuana party in Pennsylvania and helping him with a website. He unfortunately went to prison, so we do Pennsylvania, we do Utah. Utah is probably what you were thinking of, and Idaho as well, and we're hoping to get into Arizona too. And then we're also working on Sensible Washington's initiative here in Washington, and basically that's for full legalization. It just basically eliminates criminal penalties entirely for marijuana for adults.
That's what it ought to be.
Exactly. I heard you guys talking about all the many uses of cannabis, and that's exactly what we're looking at here in Washington. Washington has gotten wise to this, that, for so many years we've lost this crop, and now the people have an opportunity to get it back. So, Sensible Washington is proposing that we just remove the criminal penalties. There's no clauses for taxes, there's no clauses for restrictions, for limitations. It's basically just removing the penalties like it should be.
Yes, and turn it over to the free market and put sales tax on it like you do any other product out there, and don't have any other limitations. When they try to overregulate and try to put too much into it, then it becomes very difficult for it to come over. If they would just legalize it, turn it over to free enterprise, put a sales tax on it, the tax revenues would come in that they want. And you could do that with a price of cannabis way lower than what it is now.
Exactly. Just the retail sales tax alone, and the fact that people would be back to work instead of living off government assistance. I mean, there's so many jobs that can be had. It's amazing.
People want to have a point and purpose, and it's like the products that Hippie Butter sells and all. You could put those out, sales tax the heck out of them, and let that be the base of their revenues. Not these, I'm going to have to spend $135 to go get a medical marijuana card, and then I've got to renew that. And they don't make people that go get 6 packs of beer do that. And that's what we ought to put up to them. You're going to make us do that, then the people who drink beer, they're going to have to go down. When they go to the liquor store, they're going to have to produce a card from a doctor if that costs them $135. I guarantee you that stuff would go out the window immediately.
Exactly. Well,
Absolutely.
The thing that we're looking at here in Washington is they're trying to regulate our medicine now. And this is what I've been warning the cannabis community, even the people that were against Prop 19 in California, is the longer we wait for legalization, the closer these guys are going to get to getting it to be purely medicine. And when they reschedule cannabis, it's not the people like you and me who are going to be in the business. It's not those people who are going to be enjoying the benefits. It's going to be the pharmaceutical people. When they reschedule it to maybe a Class 2 or a Class 3, you're going to need a pharmacist license. You're going to need to, be inspected by the DEA, and you're going to have all your transactions regulated that way. And, the longer we wait for full legalization, the closer they're going to get their hands wrapped around the necks of this beautiful plant, and they're going to tax the hell out of it. They're going to require you to have, pharmacy license. It's going to be ridiculous. And so I keep urging people, don't worry about the medical anymore. Let's forget about the medical. The glory and the benefit to the people is going to come through full legalization, to where we have this wonderful crop legal just like it used to be 72 years ago, and we get to use the benefits of it, not the pharmaceuticals, not the big companies.
And the money's not going to be made on the smoking marijuana. I mean, let's face it, the real, you're talking about a small little penny coin versus a big, large sack of gold by comparison when you look at the revenues that are going to come from the hemp industry and all the products. It's the sales for the marijuana. I mean, they'll almost be able to give that stuff away when you compare it to the revenue and tax dollars that's going to come from the hemp industry.
Yeah, hemp nuts alone could feed the world.
Exactly.
Nobody has ever had.
Excuse me, this is FCC regulated.
The squirrels have been salting their nuts, Casper.
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't catch everybody. Who are we all speaking to today? I'm sorry, we got three people. I only thought we had Hippie Butter and Casper, and who else is there?
Carey Burns from the Cannabis Corner.
Oh, okay, great. Hey, good to see you. Good to talk to you.
You too.
I appreciate you guys all being here and enjoying this, and celebrating Casper's new freedom. That's how I see it, just to see one person getting another step closer to freedom.
May I say that there's been a handful of people who have been genuinely concerned about my being here in Indiana with this broadcast and the stiff laws that they have pertaining to this plant. And it has been a concern that if the law enforcement were to really be annoying in my world and continually arrest to harass me, they could have shut down Time for Hemp and silenced me. And then there are also people who feel that the show would grow and become a louder voice for the marijuana movement if I have the opportunity to be in Portland, Oregon, where I can meet a variety of activists and hardworking people who need to have a spotlight put on them. And I've not had a chance to meet them. And they also feel that I might have the benefit of encountering businesses that would be inclined to advertise on such a program and have the opportunity to meet me face to face. So we're hoping that everything that you all say is true. Now, I did make it a point to have you on the program today, Ryan, to not only meet with Carey and Hippie Butter, but after the break, we're going to be joined by Dean Becker, who also has a radio program. And I know that radio is one of the things that you're involved with, and it was intentional that today's lineup was established the way it is here at Time for Hemp. Thank you for taking Time for Hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leach. You are listening to the live broadcast of Time for Hemp all around the world on AmericanFreedomRadio.com and on AM/FM stations all across America. On the program today, I want to encourage you to go to norml.org and make a difference in your neck of the woods by finding a chapter that's close to you. We are talking today with my joint host, Carey Burns. Hi, Carey.
Hello, Casper. How are you?
Pretty groovy. And then we've also got on the program today one of my favorite sponsors and people who has stood behind me for a long time, Brad Irvin, from Hippie Butter. Say hi, Hippie Butter.
Hi, Hippie Butter. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Peace,
man. And then we are enjoying a joint conversation with our guest, Ryan Thompson. Hi, Ryan.
Hi. Very high.
Yes, we are. So, now, I understand you got a couple of websites that are trying to make a difference, and you're trying to put together some kind of radio format station.
Yes, sir. Yes, we are hoping that this works out for the ASEAN network with Professor Ray Crystal, who you had on the 25th, who's very excited to help his friend Roger Christie, who has no bail in Hawaii. And basically, we're just trying to raise awareness around hopefully what is the last marijuana trial, Roger Christie. And we're also trying to expose people to freedom and get people active, encourage people to speak out and not be so afraid of their freedom. So that's at sensielife.com. And then we also have www.xcannabis.com. And we kind of do ministry through Cannabis. We have a similar thing to what Roger Christie started with the THC ministry, and I've been into faith in Jesus Christ for quite a long time, and I've always been invited to speak at different Baptist conventions and things like that. Well, not always, but in rare occasions when they can put up with me for long enough, they've had me speak about different issues there. So I thought it'd be good to bring attention to the greatest crop God ever invented, which is cannabis.
Cool. That's really amazing. It's an awful lot of work, too, to say the least, and dedication. I know that Ray has been a champion in Time for Hemp for quite some time, so I really appreciate his support.
Yeah, he's great. He invited me to do some interviews, and it turned into being inspired to make a radio show and get some people that aren't in the movement as much into the movement more. And the more people we can give a voice to, the more people who we can empower, I think, the more people that we can get in the voting office and inspire their friends and family too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there's a handful of other websites that you've been focused on that you wanted to give a shout out while you had an opportunity.
Yeah, well, we do so many. I have around 30 websites. I'm kind of a computer programmer by trade, and I do database administration at night. So, I figured my contribution to this movement could be via different websites. So we're actually making a hemp dome this year. We're going to start the foundation in California, in Northern California, in the city of Alturas. We're going to make the world's first hemp dome, geodesic structure, that Buckminster Fuller came up with back in the 40s. This geodesic shape combined with the hemp is going to be amazing. And, it can be used as building material. It can be used as so many different types of material. So we wanted to illustrate that through hempdome.com, which is still kind of being worked on at this point. It hasn't fully arisen. And then we have SLU2.com, which is kind of a place where people could get free blogs that want to express their message. They can go out there and sign up at SLU2.com, get a free blog, and whatever you want to put on there. If you wanted to start something like WikiLeaks or WikiLeaks, that is, if you wanted to do something that you typically couldn't do on a different host, we let you do that for free. And so we've always been trying to promote this free speech aspect of the movement, letting people get out there and do their own protest, and have different dialogue and have some diversity in the movement.
Now, are you using hempcrete on that building, the hemp dome?
I am, yeah. We're actually trying to fabricate the struts and the actual foundation out of hempcrete as well. We're going to try to get the cross sections made out of hemp as well with polyurethane mix and hempcrete. The basis of the hempcrete is the fibers that they send out. And we're working on a lot of different ideas, but we'd like to see it completely, as much as possible anyway, built out of hemp.
On Skype. I'm looking at it. I've been wondering.
Wow, that's amazing, because from what I've been reading about hempcrete, as time goes on, it actually petrifies and becomes harder than concrete that we're making nowadays.
That's what I understand, and we've never built out of it before. My father was a builder, and his father built his own house, and I want to do the same thing with my own house when I finally get it built. And as I understand it, is the lye in the hempcrete actually petrifies it pretty well immediately. After about 8 hours, when it's completely dry, you've got a breathable and stronger structure than what concrete could make anyhow, but instead of it being totally sealed off and creating mold problems, hempcrete actually breathes, and it's not only an insulating fiber, but it's also a very strong load-bearing fiber, and with the petrification, it's just an amazing building material.
Wow, now where do you import... Oops, sorry. I was just going to ask where he imports that from.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Just going to ask where you import that from. Do you get all that from Europe, the hempcrete?
Yes, yeah, you do. Mostly in the the Netherlands, and even England. In fact, England's growing tons of crops, tons of industrial hemp crops. And in fact, Lotus just really recently made a hemp car that was grown in England. So where we go to is hemptraders.com, and there's a lot of resources there for lumber and other hemp materials. And if I could remember the hempcrete producer, I can't at the moment. We actually haven't ordered our products yet. So, but most of what we're going to be needing, including plywood sheets of hemp, particle sheets of building lumber, is coming from this hemptraders.com.
Wow.
Okay. Now, for those who might have ever heard, we finally got Dean Becker to join us on the line, and we were in the middle of conversation. So if my getting Dean on the line interrupted your conversation, forgive me. Dean Becker, thank you for being part of our broadcast.
Hey, Casper, it's a privilege, as always, to be speaking with you and your good friends. How's everybody?
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Dean.
Hello.
How you been doing?
Good morning.
Dean,
Busy,
we've been having a conversation with Ryan Thompson. I was wondering if you wanted to jump in with one of your questions.
Well, look, to me, the fabric of this drug war is unraveling, but there are other people who are trying their best to knit it back together as we speak. It's time for us to stand a little taller, speak a little louder, and demand that we deal with reality. And these fables of old is just getting ridiculous.
I found a flaw in the singles narcotics treaty the other night that might be a way we can circumvent all this prohibition. In Article 28 in the singles conference, which deals with the cannabis part, it says in there that the narcotics, the treaty themselves, are going to develop measures to regulate and keep the manufacture of the cannabis leaf from happening. They didn't say anything about flower tops, nothing about stalks, nothing about seeds, nothing about herds. It specifically says the leaves of cannabis. And I say, y'all can have all the leaves you want. Just let us have the flower tops, let us have the stalks, let us have the herds. I think this is one way that we can really circumvent the law. And also they left it open where you could, if your country allowed such activity before this thing was signed, then you could reprise yourself from it and excuse yourself. And Timothy Leary's lawsuit in '66, which made the marijuana tax law unconstitutional, that means that it was unconstitutional all the way back to when it happened. And so that creates that period in 1960 when cannabis actually was legal, even though the Supreme Court hadn't ruled on it yet.
Right.
Wow.
I love it. Nice work.
So I think that should be pursued. And also in the Controlled Substance Act, the one they just put out, the new edition there in February of this past year, they referred to it as cannabis sativa. No mention of cannabis indica, no mention of cannabis ruderalis. And I say keep the sativa. We'll use that for making fuel, and we'll start smoking the indica varieties solely.
I love it. You're right about them knitting this back together. In my opinion, these medical things that they're proposing here in Washington is in response to our legalization efforts, and they're reforming our medical laws where they're trying to shut out enterprise. There's 34 cannabis dispensaries gone to medical dispensaries here in Spokane, Washington, and we have more here on this side of the state than they do in Seattle at present. And so, what they're doing is with the Senate Bill 5073 and House Bill, its companion bill, House Bill 1100, is they're trying to start putting limits on how many patients a provider can provide to, which they're giving 25 is the number right now. And they're doing a lot of things like that. Oh, go ahead.
I gotta jump in here and put a limit on how much more we can talk before we go to commercial break, because Father Time is ticking the clock. So those of you out there who are listening, please go to our sponsor's website and let them know that you heard about them when you were packing a bowl and sharing spot with your friends and taking Time for Hemp. Yeah, coffee and reefer does make me feel all right. First thing I'll do when I get out of bed in the morning is pack a bowl, pour a cup, and get busy fighting this war on drugs. I would encourage you to go to norml.org. And I got to tell you, people out there at Normal, you really owe me a lot of money for all the free advertising I do for you on my program here at Time for Hemp. And I know I'll never see it because they use the expression, "Oh, we're a nonprofit and we're supposed to be getting donations from you." So you're welcome, Keith Strop. I love you. Now, on the program today, my joint hosts, Carey Burns and I also have two great guests, Brad Irvin from Hippie Butter, and we've also got a hardworking activist who's now living in the state of Washington, Ryan Thompson. Thank you for taking Time for Hemp.
We're so honored. You have no idea the inspiration you're giving so many of my listeners today, Casey. And I'm so sorry that I was late today. But you're doing a great work. You've had me just inspired like you wouldn't believe. So thank you again, and thank you, Dean, and also Carey for being with us today. This is just a great celebration of the freedom that you're about to experience here pretty soon. Casper.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm so excited. I was so disappointed when I found out I wasn't leaving until the 4th or the 3rd, because I can't wait to get to Oregon to enjoy all the benefits that's found there.
Amazing. 24 plants is what they have there. Is that what you were saying on the last show? Is that you get to grow 24 plants there?
Yeah, baby. I mean, yeah. And you get to also have 24 ounces in your house. 24 fabulous ounces! I mean, you can have...
Is that about a week's supply?
Yeah,
Exactly.
baby. I mean,
Just remember to get...
stuff here in Indiana, but in there it's fabulous stuff. I'm sorry, Brad, what?
I was just going to say, make sure you get all your credentials in order before you do anything.
Hey, I've already done that. The day I get off the boat, I walk into Paul's office, Paul Stanford. My doctor records are already there. I'm already a citizen of the state. I've been there more than 24 hours. I've been there a week. So, Brad, the day I get there with my U-Haul, before I even unpack me and the dogs, I'm getting my medical marijuana card. Then I'm getting my medical marijuana. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's a pseudo form of freedom, Casper, but it really is empowering. When we first moved here from Utah to Washington, and I could have 24 ounces and I could have 15 plants, I thought that heaven had finally opened the gates, and here I came walking through them. That's what it felt like to me.
I bet.
It's amazing. I spent time in jail so many times in Utah when I was growing up. I grew up in Utah in Mormon land. It's an absolute no-tolerance state. And the last time I served time for cannabis was for when I had 2 grams in my pocket. Most of it was ash from my pipe. And they took me to jail and gave me 8 months, basically. I bailed out, skipped bail, came back from Washington to turn myself in. But, no sympathy whatsoever. Just for 2 grams of simple possession, I served 8 months. And then this last year, I went down there to protest. I was holding a sign that said legalize it at a parade. Everybody else was protesting as well. Their business, their political cause, whatever. And nobody else got a permit, apparently, but I needed one. When I got arrested, they told me that my crime was using the streets without a permit. And so we challenged that. I actually hired Andrew McCullough, the director of the ACLU. I hired him as private counsel, and we went after him a little bit. They didn't put up too much of a fight, and a month after I was arrested, they changed the law that requires people to have a protesting permit to protest now. So, we're making a little bit of progress. It's just these little tiny steps that we make that, make the biggest difference. And combined, millions of us can really make this happen.
Now, I got to jump in here because, Father, time does tick. We're down to about a minute, so let's let the guests give a shout-out. We'll start out with Ryan. Give us a shout-out to a website and a friend.
Yeah, John Novak is in court today. He's also fighting for his medical marijuana. Apparently, his dad was a musician when he was a kid and was quite popular. And I don't know much about him, but I know that John is putting up quite a fight. And our website, if you want to check out more information on John and lift other people up that are suffering in this persecution, you can go to www.xcannabis.com. That's the letter X and then cannabis.com. Thank you so much, guys.
And before we give Dean a chance to give a shout-out for his upcoming broadcast, let's get to Hippie Butter. Hippie Butter, shout-out.
Yeah, just remember, if you want any good hemp products, go to hippiebutter.com. Thank you, Casper.
You're welcome. And my joint host today, Carey Burns.
Thank you, Casper, and have a great time in Oregon. I know you're going to do well, and you're going to enjoy it. But cannabiscorner.us, anybody that wants to watch some little old videos.
All right. And Dean Becker, make it short, but give a promo.
Yeah, Casper, I appreciate it. Yeah, I have this coming Sunday, I've got Mr. Stephen D'Angelo, head of Harborside Health Center, going to be on the Cultural Baggage Show. And then the Century of Lies show is going to feature Brendan Kiley, a Seattle reporter, talking about levamisole that's in the cocaine coming north, the dog deworming agent. You can check it out at drugtruth.net. Sunday, 6:30 to 7:30 Central. Please check it out. Please do your part to end the madness of drug war. Thanks, Casper.
Absolutely, and I want to encourage people to go to timeforhemp.com if you like the work that we're doing and hit the donate button. Also, let people know the truth in your neck of the woods and share us with your friends. I'm going to have a fabulous weekend and get ready to move to Portland, or should I say Potland. And remember, the next time you hear me, you know that it's time for hemp.
They can't keep a good man down. Always keep a smile when they want me to frown. Keep the vibes and I stood my ground. They will never ever take my crown. Oh, Jah bless, I say no man curse. Things getting better when they thought it would be.